Hello, everyone. I am really zenned out right now. I basically climbed two mountains today, very different mountains. One was physical, and the other one was a much more emotional type of mountain. But both of them I came to and were a challenge in unfamiliar territory, and I kind of went in anyway, and I decided I was just going to do it. And coming off of that, I learned so much today, four massively valuable lessons on how to have an immediate breakthrough. And since my work is around breakthroughs and my clients work with me to up level in some way and to break through their own walls, I figured why not share with you all four immediate ways to have a breakthrough right now, just that I learned from my two mountains that I climbed today. So the first lesson I'm going to share with you guys is, maybe you don't know this, but your mind lies to you all the time. Your mind just lies. Like every time you're told you can't, you tell yourself, I can't have that, I can't do that, or I have to choose between one thing or the other, I can't have both. Your mind is constantly lying to you. And I have so many examples of this, but in the interest of being really succinct here, I'll just say that every single time you reach a new level of success and you look back and you think to yourself, look how far I've come, consider how it felt when you first started that climb and realize that your mind was like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to make it this far. One of my favorite coaches who I hired when I was transitioning to becoming a full-time coach myself, she was only a couple steps ahead of me professionally, but I felt like it was such a huge leap because she was really plugging into what I wanted to be doing. And then once I did it, I was like, oh, this is not so bad. So our minds lie to us all the time. And if you want an instant breakthrough, you need to understand that because your mind informs your body and your reality and is lying to you all the time, in order to protect you, like great intentions, but it's definitely a big liar, you need to be okay with lying to your mind. Your mind needs to be lied to if you want to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So in this example that I'm going to give you was my physical mountain that I climbed today. I was with my husband when we were climbing, and he kept telling me in the beginning, like, are you sure you want to keep going? Are you sure you want to keep going? And I said, why? What's going on? And he said, well, I don't know if I'm feeling like my best. I'm a little jittery. And I was like, well, let's keep going a little bit. I want to just try a little bit. And he decided somewhere along that time when he kept asking me, are you sure? Why do you want to keep climbing up higher and higher? I thought we were going to go down already. He decided to flip the script. And he decided to tell himself, I'm not jittery. This is fine. I'm going to do this thing. And by the way, he's a finisher. Like, he finishes what he starts. And I'm not necessarily. Like, I'm fine with trying something and then turning around. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to just turn around in the middle and be like, that was great. We tried something new. Let's leave. But he was like, no, let's finish what we started. This is not so bad. And he did an entire 180 and ended up being really supportive of me feeling challenged mentally when we were going for it. So all this to say that you need to be able to be okay with lying to your mind. Literally full out lying. And I know it's going to feel funny at first to do it, but just try it and watch what happens. And I learned this from Marissa Peer, if you know who that is. Basically, imagine a lemon in your mouth right now, in this moment. Picture a lemon, like literally hold it in your hand right now and put it in your mouth. Open your mouth and put this lemon in your mouth. And I want you to really visualize this lemon, all its juiciness and how tart it is, and it's in your mouth. And I want you, I'm even doing it right now, but I want you to notice, if you're really doing a good job of mentally telling your mind that there's a lemon in your hand and you're putting it in your mouth, you will be salivating and your mouth is going to start thinking that it's got a lemon in it and it's going to be acting accordingly. You can create your body, your life, whatever you want to happen. You have to be willing to spend some time tricking your mind and not to feel badly about it because your mind lies to you. That's number one. Instant breakthrough, lie to your mind, okay? The only time lying is acceptable, lie to your mind. Number two, I hear this a lot. People will talk to me about they really want to have integration. They have a lot of information of what they need to do, but they don't know, they need support on how to integrate that into their lives. And that continuum between information and integration. So I actually mentioned this when I was at the top of my mountain that I had climbed today, my physical mountain. which was that, and I learned this morning when I was on my emotional mountain. I had basically said to two amazing colleagues and real friends, Niyama and Philippa, I'll just give them a shout out, that I was going to try something really new in this conversation with them. You know, we'd been having some really good, deep conversations, and I was going to do something a little bit different and new. And it was sort of scary, and I did it anyway. And it really reminded me of the today afterwards when I went on this mountain physically. It was such a perfect way to like kind of tie it all together. I went to the top of this mountain and I was there taking in the view, and I'm thinking to myself, now I need to, the work that really needs to be done is the descent. The point of life isn't chasing inspiration. The point of life isn't chasing a high. We all think that that's what we want. We want the high. We want the energy. We want the inspiration. We want those good feelings so that we can deliver and be successful. But really, life is not about getting that high of energy, of success, of whatever it is. Life is about folding in ourselves, into ourselves, the high on our regular plane of living that we're at. So taking what you want and having a really careful descent where you can completely balance and go down carefully without falling and hurting yourself. Because I actually, a few years ago, went on a retreat as a coach, had a great high. It was an incredible high, and then crashed and burned for a long time afterwards. If you don't plan your descent really carefully and go down really carefully, you're not going, because you're so focused on getting that high, you're going to end up having a free fall. But if your focus is, I want to have a descent that's safe and that folds in all the learnings that I got from my high, you're going to be not only incredibly expanded from the incline, but you'll also be really grounded because you'll be back on level footing. And that's sort of what I learned from both this mountain of a conversation I had that was more emotional and the physical mountain that I climbed today. Someone asked a question, Stephen, does lying to your mind reflect on how the world sees you? I think 100% it does, because think about it. If you go into a party and you tell yourself, I'm not fitting in here, I just want to shrink, these people are way different than me, I'm an outsider, you're physically going to you're going to be putting out vibes that you're going to feel unapproachable to other people. But if you go into a party and you're like, I'm a host of this party, this is my house, I need to invite these people in, I need to make them feel good and warm and well received. So you're sitting there walking around smiling at people with the understanding, I'm here to help other people feel good, I'm here to support other people, I'm here to host. 100% the world is going to then perceive you really differently. But you have to tell your mind a story. You have to tell your mind who you are, whether you feel you are that or whether you are that or you're not. So I think it's absolutely, absolutely essential to lie to your mind if you want the world to see you differently. So I've said so far 2 ways to have an instant breakthrough. One is lying to your mind, and the second is integration is more important than information. But what that really means is stop chasing the highs and focus on folding in the highs into your regular living. That's the goal. The goal is, so yes, you need to experience the highs in order to know what you're looking for. But the real goal is folding in all these amazing lessons that I learned along the way, and this expansion that I felt, and this beautiful view I took in, because I tasted what it is to live on a higher plane. And then you start coming back down in a much more powerful way. The third way to have an instant breakthrough is independent. Let's talk about independence for a second. So in my conversation today with these 2 amazing people, I talked about how there are really very few people I would let in 100% into my world, very few people, and how I've really come a long way with, look, I share online quite a bit about myself and what I'm thinking. So I really do actually, on reflection, let people in deeply. But here's the catch. I'm not looking for external validation from anybody else. And I'm not looking for I'm not having any expectation on anybody else. Like, how you perceive my story is up to you, and it's not really my problem or my business. But what I want to do is, my only expectation is I want to share my story. I want to share my truth. I want to share whatever light I can with other people to help lift them up. That is true independence without avoiding relationship. That is true independence where you're saying, hey, I'm going to take support where I can, but I don't need to walk around this world feeling needy, feeling a sense of high expectations of other people that they're never going to be able to meet. Because I need something from them. I need them to give me something, because I actually can give whatever I need, I can actually give to myself, but I'm not sharing because I need something from you. I am sharing myself because I want to share myself. That's much more powerful. And actually in my own marriage, I've gone from a place of valuing harmony as the number one value. In the last few years, I've shifted over to having self-actualization inside my marriage as my number one value. Where I'll say to my husband, I need to talk. I need to vent to you, husband of mine. Sit down, listen up. Here's what it is. You can think I'm crazy. You can, not be able to say the right thing. I don't need you to say the right thing. I just need to share this part of myself that feels dark, that feels bad, that doesn't feel attractive. I need to share that with you. And I don't have any expectation of how you're going to show up here. I'm gifting you with this piece of me. And that's what I'm sharing. And that to me is absolute independence, where you can have relationships from people where I don't really care how you show up. I'm choosing you to share myself with. And being able to do that with the whole world, where, and for those of you who actually go into post things online, like that's a powerful feeling where you can post something that you've processed because you want to share that piece of yourself with the world, or share that piece of yourself with a group. That feels really, really powerful. So number one, lie to your mind if you want to have an instant breakthrough. Number two, fold in your highs if you want to have an instant breakthrough. Stop chasing the highs, fold in the highs into your regular living for an instant breakthrough. Number three, figure out how to grasp true independence in the sense that you're not going to be expecting something from someone else. And this goes back to lying with your mind. You don't have to feel it yet. You could just tell your mind that you can do it. So whatever you want to share with someone, go ahead and share it, but do it from a place of, I'm investing in this relationship part of myself. This has nothing to do with me needing something from you. The last piece of this that I want to share with you, and I think this one's the most important, is breakthrough. For a breakthrough is support. Support, support, support. And what I mean by that is, in the beginning of my hike up this mountain, you guys, I'm not a nature person. I'm not into hikes, or I'm not super, I'll go to the gym 5 days a week for an hour when it's open and safe to do that. And I'm happy with that. And that's the best for me. But going off to hike up a mountain is not my bag necessarily. So the reason that I find support so critical is that in the first half of the hike, I was just wow, I'm climbing a mountain. This is really cool. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep climbing up, higher, higher, higher. My husband's like, what are you doing? Why are you going on and on and on? We were just going to go on this nice little flat trail. I was like, let's just keep going. Let's just see what happens now. Let's just see what happens next. But then there came a certain point in the hike where I was like, I don't want to go anymore. I'm ready to go down. This was great. I'm done. And he was like, well, let's finish what we started. Let's keep going. And he kept saying stuff like, well, it's not so bad. And he would go in front of me sometimes and be like, oh yeah, it's a lot easier right here, after we almost died on a rock 5 times. So having another perspective, a fresh perspective to disrupt your thinking. I've said this before, but it's so critical. And this is where my emotional mountain that I climbed today with my 2 amazing people really served me powerfully, because one of them was just called me out and was like, you're telling me something. I forgot what I had said at that moment. I took notes on what he said, but he was like, you're saying something, but I don't buy it. You're telling yourself a story in your head about what reality is, of what you can and can't do. And I don't really buy it. I'm not buying it. I don't think that's true. I now remember, it was I had basically limited myself, that I was only able to support other people in one way. And I wasn't able to fully integrate my whole self into the way I support people. And he was like, that's not true. You don't need to only support people in this one way. You can actually support people much more powerfully if you can include all of yourself into the way you support people. And I was like, whoa, he's right. He's absolutely right. But I didn't even know my mind was lying to myself, except that I had that support of someone saying, that's not true. You're lying to yourself. Your mind is lying to you right now. And the other person who was with me on the call was connecting dots for me that I wouldn't have been able to connect for myself, because we have a blind spot when we're the one driving the car, right? So she was able to really connect dots for me that I hadn't seen before. Support is critical, and you can't get that support unless you feel like you're ready to be authentically yourself and be independent in the sense that I'm not needing validation here. It needs to be a safe place, but I don't need people to pat me on the back and tell me, you're right, stay hiding, stay protected. I need people to call me out and be like, you are powerful. You can do a lot more than you're doing, and you're showing up powerfully already. Imagine how much more powerfully you can show up. That's what support looks like. Disrupting your thinking from this is what's possible to no. There's a whole nother level of what's possible. So you could have an instant breakthrough when you get that level of support. So 4 awesome, fresh, new ways to have instant breakthroughs. 1, lie to your mind. Hey, Razy. So glad you showed up, Razy. I love your comments. 2, number 1 was lie to your mind. Don't be afraid to lie to your mind. Be a huge liar to your mind, because your mind lies to you all the time to keep you protected. Number 2, fold in everything. Stop chasing the highs and fold in the highs to your daily living. Think about any high, anything that energizes you. Do try to access it. Do make the climb up. But understand that the descent down is so much more critical, because you need to integrate everything, or as much as you can and you're ready for, from the high on your way down. Number 3, true independence is sharing yourself with other people and sharing your vulnerability with others with zero expectation that they're going to do anything for you back. And when I say anything, I mean no validation, no, pat on the back or whatever validation looks like for you, that they don't need to protect you from anything. That's true independence. Not shutting yourself out of the world and not needing someone else in a way that's not healthy, but rather sharing yourself, knowing securely that I'm sharing myself as a gift, and that is going to create me into an independent person. And that's a breakthrough. That in and of itself is an instant breakthrough. And the last one is support. And I think that that's something that so many people can't wrap their head around. People are willing to spend money on a nice car. They're willing to spend money on a nice house, on a nice vacation. But if you ask someone, are you interested in spending money on changing your life for the better forever? They can't wrap their head around it. And I'll just end with this one powerful story. I just shared it with a few people, but it's so powerful and it really got me. Warren Buffett every year auctions off a luncheon. And in the year, I think it was 2004, he auctioned off a lunch with him for charity for $25,000. Do you guys know how much a lunch with Warren Buffett was auctioned off for in 2019? 2019, Warren Buffett's lunch was $4.57 million, I think was the number. $4.57 million someone paid because somebody understood that a 2-hour luncheon with Warren Buffett, that was going to be the kind of support that they needed, the kind of presence that they wanted to be around to up-level their entire life. And that was much more valuable than $4.57 million. That was something they couldn't put a price tag on, really. That was something that was going to shift their paradigm. He could say something that was going to land in a way for them that could shift their paradigm forever and create their life in a different way forever. So anyways, thank you guys for listening. If you're watching this on the replay, do let me know. I would love to hear any insights that you get. And I wish you guys a lot of luck with your own adventures, because I recommend climbing a mountain. I can now say that I do. So yeah, have a great day, everybody. Bye.